Welcome to the Swazzle Puppet Studio. I am Sean, and today I am going to show you how we can make puppet fur that looks like this into something that looks more like this. So again, this is what we're starting with, and this is what it's going to become. All right. So this is for a puppet we are making. This is the puppet body here. And then this is one of the arms. So what I'm going to do is use a very special technique. And I will show you how we can do that. So the first thing you need, of course, is whatever fur that you're going to restore. You can see this fur has this kind of crinkly texture, and it's manufactured this way. This technique will work even if you just have fur that is, damaged, perhaps an old, costume or stuffed animal or whatever it is you want to restore. This technique will work. So what I'm going to do is use a hairdryer. And before you start like on a whole stuffed animal or something, it's probably best just to test it in a small area before you commit to the whole thing. Now, I already know that this technique works on this fur, and I'm just going to demonstrate the technique for you live. So what you want to do is get whatever it is you want to restore. Get a hairdryer. I use high heat. And I use the high power mode. And what you're gonna do is gonna get kind of loud, so I'm just warning you. I'm gonna take the hairdryer. I'm gonna turn it on, and I'm going to kind of in a circular motion work it over the fur, and you will start to see this fur go from this crinkly, textured look to a very soft, untextured look, just like this. So here we go. Hairdryer, fur. So as you can see, I'm moving the hairdryer around. I'm not letting it get just stuck in one area. And you can already start to see the effect that it has. You see how those that curly technique is starting to straighten out. I'm also moving the piece around so it doesn't get like locked in on one area. If you have like furry pillows at home that start to look a little run down and ragged, this will work as well. Or even like if you have like boots with faux fur on top and you want to bring it back to a nice fluffy appearance. One thing you should never use to restore anything that's faux fur is a brush. If you use a brush, it just becomes frizzy. You pull out the fibers, and it will not have this nice soft appearance. It'll look like a frizzy mess. Unless that's what you're going for. If you want that frizzy look, then guess what? Use a brush. Maybe even use a cat brush. Show you a little progress. You can see how that is starting to lay down and restore. Now, one thing that's interesting is we already did like a trim on this, especially at the fingers. And because this fur has a texture to it, you can't really tell it was trimmed. But once I take the hair dryer to it and it really starts to flatten out, the fact that it was trimmed will become more apparent. So we might have to come through with a trimmer and scissors to just make sure that it has the final appearance we're going for. Now that it's flattening out some more, I'm starting to see some of the fibers that were caught in the machine from, the machine sewing. So I'll try and pluck some of those fibers out. Sometimes we use like an awl or a pin. Actually, these are coming out pretty easily. I can also come in with like a pin. Sometimes we use a safety pin because they have a little more of a handle on them. I'll just kind of pluck these out of the seam. I'll need to trim them down a little bit because they're already a little longer than some of the other fibers that are here. So just take a little trim to that. And we'll continue using the hair dryer to restore the fur. It's the wrong hand. That's why it looks so weird. All right, because some of it was trimmed, they got little fibers blowing all over. So let's see. Starting to look like this. And just for reference, this is the non-restored puppet hand. So you can see this is the non-restored hand, and this is the restored hand. So you start to see how it's coming together. Again, this is non-restored, and this is restored. And just for folks that are just joining, we don't use a brush to restore our puppet fur, because that will give it a very frizzy appearance, which is not really what we're going for. We're just wanting something that is soft and not frizzy. Just want it to look soft. So let's go through with a little more hair dryer. Full power. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna do a little more on the inside of the top here. Still has that crinkly appearance. It's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the safety pin here. I'm going to pluck some of the fur out of the seam. And I see someone just asked, what are we making? We're making a puppet for a client. And this is, actually it's almost finished, but they just requested that the fur be a little shorter and softer. So instead of this crinkly fur, we're using the hair dryer to restore it and make it look a little softer. And of course, as soon as it's good to share, the final puppet will go on our Instagram. We always try to, share whatever we can there once the work is completed. Okay, so I'm just kind of scrubbing a pin over, a safety pin over the seams, and that's sort of plucking out some of those fibers that have been trapped in from the sewing. So now, I feel like appearance-wise, it has the look I'm going for. It's not this crinkly look. You see the original here? This is what it started with, and this is what it's becoming just by using the hair dryer. See, this is one look. It's a great look, but if you want something softer, smoother, the hair dryer will do the trick for you. Definitely do not use a brush. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim up some of these fibers. And someone says hello, I say hello. I'm going to trim up some of these fibers. See the ones, the long ones that were in the seam? I'm just going to use this, which is a hair trimmer. We use a pet hair trimmer. It's better with finer fibers. I'm just going to use this to just take down these longer fibers. Trying to make sure it all matches. Shake it out. Again, just kind of trimming down the fibers. Always kind of turning the work so that you don't get stuck on one view. You gotta remember this is a dimensional item. Puppets are three-dimensional. So you wanna kind of keep moving them around. You know, the camera's sort of blowing out because of the white of the fur, but hopefully you kind of get an idea. And I'll trim the bottom palm a little more. Let's see. Okay. Someone says we should start a career as a dog groomer. You know, I could almost work at a salon or a puppy salon with these skills. I've cut a fair amount of puppet hair, and that does not grow back. Okay, trimming here, these high fibers. The idea is to have it taper from short to long. So I'm trying not to go down too short, because this will not grow back. Okay. So let me show you. I see a few more long hairs I want to take out here. Just come in little scissors. Trim those out. Okay. A few long ones at the top. Take care of those. Taking quite a bit of fur off the back. You can see that's where it'll attach to the body. Okay. Get rid of some of these fibers. Okay, so here's the body, like so. here's the arm I just restored. I'm going to go a little more on this arm. Again, I'm moving the hairdryer around, keeping it moving. I don't want it to be locked in place. I don't want to overwork one area. Give it a little shake. See a few long hairs that can go. Use my trimmer. It's a process. People want to know why puppets cost what they cost. This is one of the reasons. It's a process, not always a quick process. Okay. Yeah, that's cute. So just for reference, this is that, and this is where we are. So we started here, and now we're here. And someone is joining us for the first time. Welcome. They want to know what I'm doing. And there's a puppeteer. So what I'm doing is I'm restoring some fur. So the original appearance was, this one's not restored. So this is the original appearance, and this is what it will look like when it's all restored. You really see it in the arm. So not restored, restored. And to do that, we're using a hairdryer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach the arm onto the body. The way we attach the arms is we have shoelaces that are embedded in here. There's a wooden gasket. The shoelace is tied through that. Wooden gasket's glued to the foam. And then we have a receiving wooden gasket inside the body. Those are all laser cut. And we use these little spring latches, whatever they're called, to attach. So I can just take the shoelace, go through the hole into the foam. And the question is, what is this furry arm for? It's for a puppet we're making for a client. Not showing the whole puppet, but we will once it's all done. We like to post those pictures on our Instagram whenever it's good to share. Not everything is always available to share right away. A little more trimming just to help with the visual appearance. Okay, then I can use these attachment here to attach the thing here. It says you're a puppeteer, amazing. A puppeteer and puppet builder. All right, so you can see the left arm, and someone says, I love your work. Thank you very much. We enjoy it. So left arm is attached like so. So this is for a live hand puppet, obviously. This is not a rod hand puppet. So, you can see it's all like this. Oh, hello there. Here's how the hand would operate. And then the head of the puppet, goes like this. The head is put aside for now, but you can kind of see how this looks. So once again, that is how we use a hairdryer to restore puppet fur. All right, that's it for now. If you guys like these types of videos, we would really love it if you would like and subscribe. Follow our channel. We come on here live periodically. We post behind the scenes videos. We have lots of shorts going up. We have multiple shorts going up a week. And we'd love it if you would all follow. Oh, subscribed. Thank you. give that video a like. And of course, if anyone ever has comments or questions, we do answer those as frequently as possible. And someone says, keep up the beautiful work. Whoa, keep up the tutorials and the live feeds. You're the best. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. So again, like and subscribe. Follow us here, Swazzle Puppet Studio. And we'll come on here live and do some more of these. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. If you got questions, put them in the comments. And we'll see you next time in the Swazzle Puppet Studio. Goodbye.